1, 2, 3. Ah! It's fine. Are you sure? Yeah. Welcome back to Garage. I'm Michael Cox, and I'm here to catch you up today on what we're doing. Hey, Ralphie, quiet out there. Ralphie's been busy cleaning up our frame. As you last saw, we got the engine out of my pickup. We decided since it was out that we were going to put some new gaskets on it and do a quick little go through on this bad boy to make sure she's good for years of service in the merch truck. We got this beautiful motor here. For those that don't know, this thing's got roller rockers, double valve springs, chromoly push rods, CNC ported heads. You can see the CNC porting marks in there, real nice. This van's actually gonna get used to deliver merch to the events, and we wanna make sure that van gets there every time. The next couple things we're gonna do today is we got this beautiful oil pan from Holley. We're gonna place this oil pan on our mock-up block, which will give us the correct clearance to properly place this engine in the chassis. We got this Holley LS Swap oil pan, and it's really cool because it's based for early 60s Chevrolet cars for a swap. So it's designed to fit around the steering rack and the front crossmember. With this long dimension here and this radius here, they fit nicely in the early Chevy cars. It also comes with a new pickup tube, which goes in here. And we're gonna bolt this to our mock-up block so we know exactly where we can put this thing. One of the other things I forgot to mention is that I have a mock-up transmission, which is going to be our urinal. Before this mock-up transmission gets turned into a urinal, we're going to use it one last time on the merch bus. After that, we will be finishing up these motor mounts. All I did is cut them at an angle so they'll sit flat on our plate. So that's, for the most part, one of our engine mounts. You ready to do this? Let's get to work. Do it. See, if you look carefully, you can see that the part's flat here, but there's a little gap right here. That's because the heat you put here, it takes the part and it goes like this. So in order to keep these things as flat as possible, we're not trying to cook it and put heat all the way around, because then it gets really pissed and starts moving a lot. That's why we go slow and weld a section, move to the other one, weld a section, and just kind of bounce that heat around so it's not too much at one time. So the other thing that really helps is when welding and fabricating, cleanliness is next to godliness. That's why we polish the parts, because they weld really nice when you take the time to do that.
Morning, Vince.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, how are you, sir?
Good, thank you.
What you up to here?
So this is the engine out of Mike's truck that we're gonna be putting into the ice cream truck. Basically, I took the valve covers off. I'm gonna go through and adjust the valves on this thing. Even though it's not really adjust valves, I'm checking clearances. You gonna put a GoPro on me and watch me in fast motion?
Oh yeah.
Basically, we're adjusting the valve lash, and because this is a hydraulic lifter motor, we have to preload the hydraulic lifters. And so basically, we're doing it one valve at a time, and we get, like on this one, we'll get the exhaust valve starting to open. So if you watch, I'll start turning it. And as soon as we see that start to move, like we just did, now you'll watch the intake valve start to open. Except for there's no load on it. So, did you see that one move? Mm-hmm. So now we know we can mess with this one, because this lifter is on the base circle of the cam. Do you see this, that adjustment there? That's what we're setting the preload on. Mm. So we go to it touches. So we're touching there, we're touching there, we're touching everywhere. Then we go 1/2 turn. So basically we're gonna put the end of the nut there down to this side, and that's supposed to be our adjusted amount of preload. So now we're adjusting so those two touch, the center touches. Let me tighten these together, and that's supposed to be it. Ralphie, this looks great.
Thank you.
What have you been doing?
Working.
Well, it looks good. You've been busy grinding and wire wheeling and cleaning, getting this frame all prepped up for us. So we're ready to take this chassis inside, start mocking around, doing the Macarena. What do you think?
I agree. Let's do it.
Why are you so dirty?
I'm wearing 50 years of grease and rust.
50 years old.
Yeah.
Attaboy. Let's get this thing inside.
All right, so originally this truck had a manual transmission, but now we're converting it to automatic, so we don't need this brake or this clutch pedal or this clutch rod. So right now what I'm doing is I'm taking this rod off and then I'm cutting off the clutch pedal because the clutch pedal is actually welded to the pin that holds the brake pedal in place. So we're just gonna cut it off and leave that pin in place so that way we don't have to mess with anything.
Ralphie's been hard at work at sanding on the frame. What you've seen, it's about cleaned up, ready for paint. This chassis is gonna look good with some Steel-It. You can see we're getting down the bare metal on the frame. The frame's gonna come out really nice. We got the engine kind of mocked up in the chassis. We realized that we really need our 4L80 because I have a TH400 mock-up. The TH400 mock-up is not the correct dimensions that we need as far as the distance from the front motor mount to the rear transmission mount. So that basically that means that without that 4L80 mock-up, I cannot build the transmission crossmember. Aside from Ralphie cleaning the chassis, today we got him started on cleaning the bottom side of the body, and it's looking good. So as you can see, years of crud coming off this thing. Working on getting this thing cleaned up. We really want to do a bang up job on this bus. The best of our abilities to make it a clean, workable truck. This truck's gonna have great bones with the LS6, the 4L80, and the 9-inch rear end. I mean, you're just gonna be able to rip on this thing all you want. Thanks, Ralphie.
You're welcome, dude.
You're killing it. So that's it for today. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Big day. Good morning, Ben.
Hey, good morning, Mike.
Hey, guess what?
What?
We got a proper 4L80 transmission to do our mock-up with.
I love transmissions.
Yeah, so we're ready to move forward with putting in the engine transmission so we can finish building the engine and transmission mounts. We are waiting on a transmission from B&M. Should be here any day. But for right now, we got to move forward with this mock-up one. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Right
sounds
on.
good. Let's do it.
All right.
So now we got this trans out, we're gonna bolt it to our mock-up block and we can actually try to get this engine transmission in its final resting location. Let's do this.
All right. Whoa, Mike, what are you doing? What the f are you doing, Mike?
I'm cutting perfectly straight.
So that does look pretty good. What are you doing?
So the engine, we set the body on the chassis with the engine in there, and there's no way this is gonna fit with your feet. So basically we're gonna cut this whole section that's left of the floor out,
Yeah.
so we can position the motor where we want it, and then we're gonna end up rebuilding this so that we have a place for our feet. Now we just gotta get this part out.
All right.
Last piece of the puzzle, fitting the engine in here right.
What about the steering column?
I don't know.
We'll figure that out later.
Figure it out later.
Sounds good.
Cruising down the street to the burn yard. First, second, third, fourth. Trans just barely clears there.
Are you gonna run it like that?
So if we can, well, if we have to put a little notch there, or if we can drop it a little bit lower. Since we put the body down on the van chassis, we have determined a location for the engine, and I've churched up some of the motor mounts to get them in there. Basically, all I had to do is bolt them things in there, get the engine where I wanted it, and make a tube that fit in between the two pieces. This is where we believe the engine is gonna live. Header room's looking real tight, so that may be something we gotta sort down the road. We're still waiting on headers. Trans mount has come together. Basically made a part, this part here, based off this template of this factory trans mount. Built a little tube. This is our modified off-the-shelf tab that we bought. Had to modify it to 1.75" tube instead of 2-inch. So how this trans mount is gonna work, something like that, just a little straighter. And it's gonna go down here underneath the transmission. And there's gonna be a tube that goes across basically where this tie down is holding up the trans where we want it. Now I'm gonna get to welding. Weld this, put it together on this. and we'll be good to go. All right, it's a new fucking day. Vince, good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
How are you?
I'm decent.
So today I'm gonna focus on getting the transmission mount totally built and done. And I think the other thing we need to do, Vince, pull this frame outside and strip all the suspension off and start doing the final prep for paint and get it painted.
What do you got here?
So this is our transmission mount. Well, these are parts of it. These are what we call tube bunks. As you can see, they have like a little hand holding a bolt on either side. And basically you take that bolt off and one piece can separate from the other. So we use 2 of these on the trans mount. It's nice and clean and low profile. And you can take these screws out and pull the transmission mount out. So moving forward, I gotta weld these things and stick it back in the car to go from here to there. Very simple. You can see parts of the transmission mount that we already made using our prefabricated parts. So this guy will tuck up underneath there, and that tube will shoot across, and then we'll have a trans mount. Pound this Red Bull and get pumped up! Now these are cool. Hey Vince, you want to give me a hand with these?
Sure.
Let's put these bad boys in. See, this one's number 1, the driver's side.
Driver's side, number 1.
That goes in there just like that. There's the bolt.
Okay.
After you get that in there, I'll lift up this side. Go up. Bring one of these 2 bad boys up. The transmission mount I made from some parts we got. I wasn't too happy with the way it fit. So this side fits up real good, but in the truck, if you come to this side, the way it sits is like this, so there's a gap here. So I'm gonna fix that by removing some material on this side. Thread that one in.
Looks good.
Yeah, our engine trans mounts are done. So we're gonna have a teardown party. We're gonna race to the finish, and then we're gonna race to prep this thing for paint. See if we can't get it painted in paint by the end of the day. Let's do it. Team victory.
Victory!
You guys are going down.
Yeah, Mike, do you know what I'm taking off here?
Yeah.
Because I don't.
We're called Team Victory. Do you guys have a team name?
Yeah, Team Savage.
Team Savage?
Uh-huh.
I like that.
Yeah, because me and Chris are savages.
All right,
Ready? And
go.
go! Wrench harder. So we gave it our all to get this chassis cleaned up, to be able to paint it before we lost daylight, but we're losing daylight. So we're gonna have to postpone cleaning and painting till tomorrow. We're really committed to doing this as best as we can. So the prep is taking longer than we would have liked it to, but it's absolutely 100% worth putting in the time to make this thing awesomely prepped and then paint it with some Steel It, which is one of my favorite paints. Not a plug. It's actually an awesome product. You guys should try it. So yeah, solid day, solid progress. It is a beautiful morning here in Southern California. We got the boys. Good morning, boys.
Morning.
You ready to work?
Oh yeah.
Well, because we got a lot of work. Good morning, Vince.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
What's on the menu for today?
Menu as
Yeah.
in lunch menu?
Yeah. Most important question of the day.
I got some St. Louis ribs.
Uh-huh.
And I got some tri-tip.
Awesome.
And some soy sausage.
Let's get to work. This stuff's the best. It's actually not paint, it's stainless steel in a can. What's good about it is that it sprays really evenly. So you start spraying this stuff and you can mess it up. You'll have way too much paint over here and way too less paint over here. And the paint, you lay it on and it just levels flat when it dries. And it's very strong, it adheres hardcore. You can spray this stuff on a frame or a chassis, whatever, and you can come back with a can of brake clean and spray on it as much as you want and it will not knock it off. Like it just is locked on there.
And you can weld on it.
And you can weld on top of it, yeah.
Yeah. That's my smoker.
Vince, is this your special dry rub recipe?
Yes.
Am I not allowed to show this on camera?
Yeah, of course. It's just olive oil, salt, pepper, paprika, and brown sugar.
All right, see how
All
we
right.
did.
Let's see it.
Oh yeah.
How we looking?
Looking good.
Right there.
I like it at 225. It's at, or I'm sorry, 125. It's at 130. So that's perfect. Let's take it off. Secret is don't burn yourself. There we go. Let's go.
Did you get this meat carrying platter?
Oh, you like that? Coors Light, if you're watching, I could use a sponsor. Oh, you wanna try it?
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Verdict?
Oh, that's really good. Mm-hmm. Good job.
Thanks.
That's one of your best.
You think so?
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Vince actually competes in barbecue competitions and takes his smoker cabinet and actually wins. He goes to these competitions and wins.
Yeah, but everybody else sucks. That's why I win.
Compared to you.
How we looking, Mike?
We're doing good, man. I think it came out very good. What do you think, Vince?
Looks very good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's nice and smooth.
Yeah, looks
And
good.
it's been maybe an hour since it's been painted. It's totally
really?
dry. I mean, it might be a little soft, but this thing will fully cure in maybe another 5-6 hours. It'll be totally hardened. And next, we're gonna pull the oil pan off our mock-up engine, and we're gonna put it on our new engine, which I'm very excited for.
It's orange.
Yeah, because now the engine's orange. We got that thing painted. We're gonna put this nice. The Holley oil pan is really bitchin', so it's gonna look cool.
1, 2, 3. Ah!
Chill out, man. It's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I was freaking out there for a minute.
I know, chill, bro.
Woo!
All right, let's get that oil pan off and onto the new engine.
All right then.
There's only 4 bolts holding on, so you'll get it done
I'll get it. I'll figure it out
today.
someday.
Ladies and gentlemen, the dynamic duo.
Vince!
Yes.
Are you playing the bongos? My man. Now we got the sway bars in black steel it. We got the frame all done in steel it. It looks really great. We're super pumped on it. We got our LS6 all in Chevy orange.
That's a beautiful job, Mike. Good job.
Thank you. I painted that.
I know, you did a good job. That's what I'm saying. I'm not being sarcastic.
And you aren't patronizing me this time?
I'm not patronizing.
I'm fucking used to it. So this wraps up our week.
Dude, it's the weekend.
Yep, it's Friday. We've had a great week. We got our chassis painted. We got our engine painted. Next week we're going to be installing our intake manifold, our headers, our accessory drive. We're also going to be wiring the chassis when we get our wiring parts.
Hell yeah.
That's going to be awesome. Also, we'll be continue painting the rest of the suspension components, which are the rear trailing arms, panhard bar, and the air ride system. But we are going to slam this thing and drag the fuck out of this chassis. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Music's going good. Work hard, play hard.
Yeah? Secret recipe. Tomatoes? Yeah. No? What? They're beans.
So good. This boy can cook.
Thanks, Vince.
You're welcome. Thank you, Hoonigans.